what's up everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangout. I'm Noe Pedro Ruiz, designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week, Mr. Pedro.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Pedro Ruiz, creative tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printing projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
This is a show where we combine 3D printing, DIY electronics, smash them together to make inspirational projects. Pedro, coupon code this week.
Every week we have an awesome coupon code for you guys. Use Wearable Pi during checkout to get 10% off your order.
That's right. What's up, everybody in the chat room? We have James Ross. We have some outsiders, writers new ping pong training videos.
And over on the Twitch chat we have Roto Strike, Hookah Zoot.
It's hard. Some of your handles are hard to read, so we apologize.
Apple Babies MC. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, everybody.
Streaming hopefully in 1080 this time.
Yeah, we're trying to stream in 1080, so the show might be a little bit laggy. We're not sure.
What's going on? W Toll.
Hey, guys.
Everybody stop by in the chat room on Twitch and YouTube. Say hi.
Yeah. No Facebook this week. My little computer just can't handle it. So, anyway, same deal as we have. We have free shipping for orders that are $200 or more in the Adafruit shop.
That's right.
We have same-day delivery for the fine folks in New York City.
And we got our Adafruit daily newsletter. If you want to sign up, we got wearable tips, 3D printing, maker business, biohacking, and more. So check those out.
That's right.
Always a great dose of daily tips in your inbox.
What are you prototyping? We're going to take a look at some stuff we're working on and kind of like a show and tell thing.
Yeah. So go ahead and take a look at what is on our workbench, our 3D printing beds this week.
So this week we did this release of this project, which is a wearable Raspberry Pi, title of the show, and also the coupon code. We actually don't do that where we have the title of the show and the coupon code. Whatever. So this was a fun collab project with Phil Burgess, aka Paint Your Dragon. He wrote a custom shell script for the Raspberry Pi so that it can take photos, time lapses. It takes the photos, saves them out as Jpegs onto your SD card, but you have to stitch them together if you want to make a time-lapse video. So
we actually have a nice tip. Everybody was asking, how do we do our time lapses? So we'll go over that later in the show.
That's right. The Raspberry Pi has this is the version 2 Pi camera module, which has 8 megapixels, which is a big step up from, I believe, 5 megapixels. Mm-hmm. I already forgot the resolution. It's like
38,
something like
52,
4K,
yeah.
something like that. Maybe 3K or 4K, something like that. It's pretty decent. The image sensor is a Sony IMX 219 or 2912, something like that. Check the spec sheet if you want. We did a little bit of extra add-ons. We added this little, what is it, lens? Fisheye lens.
Mm-hmm. So this is a wide-angle lens.
Yeah.
The fisheye is a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
but
it's from
this one
PhotoJojo.
works without having any distortion. You do get defocusing on the outer edges of the lens, but
yeah, it works with a simple magnet on the edge of the thing. So inside there is a power boost, 500C, and a 500 milliamp LiPo battery, which connects to 5-volt pin on the GPIO of the Pi Zero. The camera connector is a little bit different. It's not like the regular camera connector. You need the special camera connector that's specifically designed for the Pi Zero because it has a little bit of a smaller camera connector. We also have an LED. You want to turn it on? You can turn it on. So we have a slide switch turned on. It'll quickly, right, quote unquote. It maybe takes like 20 seconds or so. So the red light turns on, let you know, okay, it's on. This LED, it's an LED sequin, so it has the surface mount resistor already on the tiny little LED, and that just hooks up to one of the GPIO pins. And what it'll do is every time it takes a photo, the LED will flash for a bit, depending on whatever wake-up time you have. So it's pretty cool. There's a button on the bottom. Do you want to show that button off? See that little white slim button? That is a safe power mode. You must safely shut it off. So the button is wired into one of the GPIOs, and in the shell script, it is configured to basically run the safe shutdown command. Yeah, the sudo shutdown. So see how it flashes really bright? That just took a photo. And I have the interval set to, I believe, 8 seconds. So every 8 seconds, or maybe 5 seconds, it'll take a photo. And you have complete control over the resolution of the photo, ISO, f-stop, shutter speed. There's all sorts of exposure modes. There is a lot of settings that you can configure that is built into the Raspberry Pi still function that we're using in the shell script. So let's take a quick look at the code. If I can go to it, here we go. Quick look at the code. There's YouTube. So in the guide, learn.adafruit.com/Raspberry Pi wearable time lapse camera, we have a ready to go image that has all the stuff pre-compiled. It's Jessie Lite, I believe, Raspbian Jessie Lite. So it's a small image. It's like 300, 400 megabytes. So that's really nice. You just burn it to your SD card. There's some little things you got to look out for, like how many photos can you take? That depends on your SD card and your partition, but you can make it bigger. We also have it set up if you manually want to set up. If you have some extra stuff in your already existing image, then you can just apply it. So here's the script. In this area here, can I copy it? Yeah, there you go. So the intervals are set here, 15 seconds by default. This is all the default stuff, so please go in there and modify it to your liking. So 15 seconds is the default. You don't want to go any lower than 2 seconds just because of processor stuff. Yeah. Width and height is how big you want it. I recommend bumping this up to 1920 or the full resolution, which I forget at the moment, but it's pretty big. It's like 3000 or something. Quality, I have mine set to 100, which is uncompressed, but this will compress it for you. You can do the compression later. I would recommend setting it to 100. This is where it saves it. So in your boot folder, in your main boot, you have a time-lapse folder. If you don't have that folder, it'll automatically make one for you. And there's some smart code here that makes it so that if you shut down the camera and start again, it'll just go off of that same sequential number. So it names it like 0001, 2, 3, so on and so forth. And then you have the Halt button. Where is the GPIO 21 is where the Halt button is wired to. GPIO pin number, not pin number, but GPIO number 5 is where the LED is wired into. So you're free to change that as well, but the defaults are there. And then right here, this is the Raspberry Pi still function. So this is like number, this is the width, these are just little variables. And then this is where you can add your ISO. This is all default right now. If you don't have ISO, exposure, and shutter stop, it'll just automatically try to figure out the best thing. Though I have found that if you go outside and try to use the auto settings, it doesn't do that good of a job. So you do want to play around with some of the settings, play around with the exposure. All the features and stuff are documented on the raspberrypi.org/documentation site, so you can check that out. I don't think we have it linked here, but we probably should. I'll see if we can get that in there soon. But other than that, that's pretty simple and straightforward. Yeah. There's also a guide here on how to resize your Pi boots partition if you'd like. But that's in a nutshell the script, how it works. And let's take a look now at some time lapses that I've taken. This one here. So this one's outside in the sun. This was an interval of 8 seconds. So obviously, the clouds are moving fast because there's just more of a more time between the photos for the clouds to take place. There's white balance as well. There's auto white balance that you can set, or manually setting. I found manually setting the white balance is a little bit not hard, but it's not like how I'm used to setting a white balance. Like I just set a Kelvin number, like 50 or 43,000 kelvins. This one's like RGB. What do you want for your RGB? And I'm like, I don't know. So I leave that out. I just make it auto white balance, and then I set the mode to sunny. They have different modes. They have like sunny and snow and indoor, outdoor, all these different types of modes. So again, you want to play with that. But these are some killer clouds. Depending on what you print the enclosure, or even if you don't have to make an enclosure, but if you do make the enclosure and you do want to get some time lapses like outdoors, make sure you're not in the direct sunlight. I did do it in the direct sunlight, and it melted my case because it's PLA, low temperature, and I borked my case. The components are fine, but the enclosure just couldn't withstand.
So we definitely recommend printing this in ABS if you plan on shooting in the hot sun.
In the direct sunlight, yeah. So, lots of different use cases. I don't know what you guys will do with it. You'll come up with a good use for it. The whole wearable narrative clip thing is kind of not that practical because, like, you know,
You're moving around.
If you're just looking at a computer all day, then you're just going to see like fuzzy images and stuff, you know.
One thing we do have to point out too is that it's a little bit difficult to set up your auto settings when you're going from indoors to outdoors. The image quality, the exposure is going to be totally off.
I think Philby's working on something to alleviate that, but we'll see.
We figured out what good indoor settings are and outdoor settings. We just need to be able to switch between those based on what the exposure is.
Maybe I'll do a tutorial like outside of this video where it talks about some things that I found. And I think that might be useful. But if anything, you'll learn a lot about you know, camera settings.
Yeah, you'll especially appreciate how the software in most modern camera software is really smart because it is a ton of stuff that you have to change inside there.
Yeah.
So the little lens, you can get these like on Alibaba or head over to PhotoJojo to get these little snap-on magnetic.
Yeah. Because it does have a focal length of 35 millimeters.
You do have to change that.
Well, it's really close up, right? Isn't that really close? And the focus is, I believe, set to infinity, or maybe not so much.
You have to take some like little needle nose tweezers to adjust the camera on this. So you just have to be very careful.
I haven't done that yet, but I did it with the older Pi camera module for my my printer bot Octoprint rig setup. I did it for that, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Let us know. Oh yeah, you know, some things about the case. We needed to have access to the SD card so you can easily remove it. So that's why there's a big opening there so you can remove it. It doesn't pop out. You have to manually pull it out. Yep. There is, right below that is the power boost USB port so you can charge your battery. It'll last about 2 hours, I believe. Give or take. And then on the bottom there's the slide switch and the safe shutdown button. To shut down, you have to hold the button down for like 2 or 3 seconds, which is pretty cool because then you won't accidentally hit it and power it down. And then, of course, you have to wait until it powers down completely to turn off the slide switch, so you can turn off the power boost. Yeah.
Let's go questions in the chat. They want to know how JPEGs are converted to video, to the MPEG streamer, right?
So you want to jump right into that real quick?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. All right. So in this specific one, Pedro is using Premiere Pro, but it should probably be the same.
No. I think they're talking about the processing. How does the? Oh, maybe they are talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll show that coming up in the shop talk. We'll finish up what we're prototyping.
Yeah.
So just questions specific to this project. People are asking. What else?
Lighter needs a cat.
Oh, they want to know. Apple Babies MC is wondering if we write all the code or Phil B does.
Oh, Phil D does,
He does all of the code.
Yeah, we're more the designers. We make the enclosures and do a little bit of the guide. We'll take photos of wiring it and soldering it. Yeah.
So most of the big projects like this, Lamar will come up with an idea. Phil B
executes the code, and then we figure out how to cram it into a little case.
So like the script for it, do the video.
But Phil B does some great designs as well. He's definitely a good CAD designer as well.
Mm-hmm. But to sort of speed up workflow and to get these projects out fast, we like to delegate work across the whole team.
It's all blurry. No.
So yep, this is totally all Phil B here.
Yeah, Mr. Phil B. Code. Yeah, but you could also use the MPEG streamer GitHub. On GitHub, there's a repository called MPEG streamer, which will stream live video footage from the PiCam. I was playing with that first before I got hands on Phil B's code, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. MJPEG streamer is what Octoprint uses to stream a live video feed from the Raspberry Pi camera or USB camera to your Octoprint rig, to your server thing.
People are asking on the YouTube chat, and Tho is asking, how do they add a safe shutdown switch to Raspberry Pi 3?
Yeah, to Raspberry Pi 3?
Yeah.
I would imagine it's the same way as any other Raspberry Pi. There is a script that is, I forget where it goes, but there's a script. Yeah. Read up on learn.adafruit.com. I think there is a guide on how to do that.
And then people are asking if we should add the little bendable little flap for protecting the SD
yeah, I
card
think
case.
Yanni added a comment, Mr. Yanni here in the chat room. Yes, that would be a good idea. We just figured we'd do it easy. You might have to rearrange like where the clip is, for example.
Yeah.
Because where I positioned everything. But you know what? I need to release the Fusion 360 file. I forgot to do that. Just the STLs, but yeah, you'll be able to remix it. That's a good point if you want it a little bit more splash resistant. Not waterproof, but splash water resistant.
Yeah.
I would cover up those ports. You can also see the ports are open here for just for, you might as well, you might as well put them. You might want to add a Wi-Fi dongle or something if you want to access it through Wi-Fi. I don't know. So I gave people the freedom to access the ports. Yeah. Cool. Do you guys want to take a look at Premiere Pro? Let's take a look at Premiere Pro, huh? Pedro, run it away.
Actually, we're still on what are we working on segment, but yeah, we can go on that. So a lot of questions were coming in for this week's time lapse. The castle, how do we do all the panning and zooming? So we're just using Premiere inside of our for all of our projects here, and all we do is just import it. Click on the little image sequence, and it imports all of our JPEGs and just turns it into a video clip. So on the side here, we are just adjusting the scale and the position of all those, and we're just setting keyframes. So when I start everything, I go to the beginning and I set my keyframes on what the first frame and position is going to be. So I just click on those there, and I'll just move a little bit in time until we see something that we like, and then I just adjust the scale and the position. And you can also click on the little motion button there if you want to actually just freely move the frame around. And for the interpolation, the temporal interpolation, I just click on the ease out, which gives you a really nice smooth like Bezier curve for that. So it's not completely smooth, but you can adjust your keyframes around. You can spread them apart until you get a very smooth movement of your camera there. So you can do that to the beginning as well. You just click on the ease out, and that shall sort of ramp into it and then ramp out, as you can see there.
Smooth pan, extreme zoom.
And then to get an even smoother motion there, you just increase the length of the time lapse or the keyframes for that. So you can just freely move those around till you get something that you like. You can do a little preview on that. And then if you're going to add even more keyframes to that, all you do is just click on those, move into a certain position that you want to focus on, and just adjust those. And one of the things that may mess up are your keyframes that are in the middle for that. So to smooth those guys out, you'll want to reset the keyframes that are in the middle so you don't have like a weird jerking motion on that. And I'll show you here just in a minute. You always want to preview all of your motion movements to make sure that everything's good. So you just go to your temporal interpolation, reset that back to linear, and then set those to a Bezier curve, continuous Bezier, so that it smooths out the curves for that. So have a nice smooth in-between keyframe for all those. And so you could do this inside of After Effects or Premiere. And I just use Premiere just because it takes a step out of having to render out your footage.
Cool.
And that's pretty much it. All you're doing is setting up the keyframes, moving your positions around, setting your scale, and making sure that there isn't any funky movement for your motion there.
All right, and as far as the camera and camera settings, is there anything you want to share with that?
Actually, that was the first one we were going to look at. That's why you kind of jumped into it.
I jumped the gun. Is that what you say? Jumped the gun?
Because now we got to go back to
Is this through? Do you want to?
No, so another thing that we do to set what the length of a print was, we don't actually look at what Octoprint says. We don't look at what the printer says. Not even what Simplify 3D says, because all those time estimations are always off. The thing that we can really trust is by looking at the timestamp of our footage. So if we take a look at your files, you can see when it started and when it ended by visually looking at it. And because some time lapses last a couple of days, it's a little difficult to figure out what the timing on that was. So I just use Wolfram Alpha and just type in the date and the time on there, and it gives me a time span of exactly how long that is, because you don't have anything weird like having, did it actually count down while the bed was still heating up? You can physically, visually see when it actually started and when it stopped. Cool. And in terms of this one, you can see here there was like 64 minutes, but when you come down with something like the castle, which took like 3 days or 58 hours, because you started at a weird time, like at night, and it finishes like in the morning, and you're not there to see it finish. You can see the exact time that it started and stopped.
Cool.
So we just use the timestamp for the files that are created for the time lapse.
Yeah. So make sure your camera has the right timestamp. Some of them might say 1967. Yeah. All right. You want to go back to that?
So we're just using a little GoPro Hero 3 blacks. We got 2 of these for all of the prints that we have to do here, and then some of the settings that we use. If you want to turn that down.
Sure. Let's do that. Boop.
Boop. A bit more. And yeah, so we're just using 60 seconds for the interval, and you can change that depending on how long the estimate time for those are going to be. So it's usually 30 or 60 seconds. And if we go into our settings, you can take a look at, we're just using the 12 megapixel setting, the wide for that, so you can zoom into all of the details on your images. Using single. And for your capture settings, I like turning the spot meter off just in case there's weird exposure changes. Yeah, like remove a light, or if we open up a window or something like that, you're not going to have weird shifting in light. And then inside of your LCD control, because if you're going to have a time lapse run for like 3 days, you don't want to burn up your LCD. It has especially these LCD screens can sort of burn an image in there, so you want to have it turn off after 60 seconds. And then you also want to make sure that your time is correct. So you always want to make sure that's always up to date. And that's pretty much it. Turn off Wi-Fi, turn off Bluetooth on these devices.
If it has it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The battery life lasts about 2 hours, so you have to have these plugged into the wall. And it's just regular USB to plug these guys in. And that should be it. We're just using a regular case. You can 3D print one, or they're like $6 on Amazon, and like super bendy.
Yeah.
And a tripod. That's it, really. And then for a lot of the detail stuff too, like the milling stuff, we use the Canon 5D and Canon 7Ds too, and we just use an intervalometer for that.
Wow.
And we're just using the I think this is like a $10 one that you can get. Okay. And pretty much the same settings, yeah, 60. Turn off the little beeping noise that it makes.
Sure.
Have the frame set to infinity. If you can see that or not. Kind of see it there. And the what's it called? The initial or the delay for each one is like 10 seconds or 60 seconds, depending on how long the time lapse is going to last. And that's
is there any focusing stuff you have to look out for with the GoPro? Maybe
for the GoPro, it's pretty automatic. So yeah, I forget what the focusing, but not so close, because it will be out of focus.
Macros.
Can't do macros with these.
Maybe 6 inches away or something.
Yeah, something like that.
6 inches.
That's pretty much it.
All right, cool. Well, again, tips. Just catching up on the chat here, folks. If you guys have any questions about that, maybe Pedro can do a longer video on just that.
Yeah, that's
some folks like to want to know more about getting nice time lapses. Mm-hmm. There's some software stuff to know about and some hardware stuff to know about. Okay. True. I guess let's keep on moving on different things. We're prototyping.
Prototypes. You've been working on milling out some simple projects with the other mill.
Hey, look at that. The other mill. The other mill Pro, I'm running it through its paces, as they say. So I tried out milling some PCBs, and I also tried milling out some simple faceplates. I guess you can call them faceplates in acrylic. So this is a faceplate, quick and easy one. It's kind of learning how to set the G code up using Fusion 360 to make some processes like pockets and contours and stuff like that. So this is just a simple acrylic faceplate for the Adafruit Pi TFT, the 2.2-inch version. And yeah, just a simple little case thing or faceplate. And I'm just learning Fusion 360. The cam tools in Fusion 360 are very powerful, very extensive, and there's a lot to learn there. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, I'm planning to do some more milling and stuff. And Pedro is working on a nice cool one here.
Yeah, so we got some very powerful neodymium magnets in the shop, and Phil had an idea of making these cool little bottle strip holders to make space in your fridge. So it was like a Kickstarter that you saw a couple years back that was successfully funded. So we were able to sort of not, like sort of, since it's already been funded, we're not sort of, like really, kind of stealing the idea.
Are you beating around the bush?
Yeah.
We're ripping your idea, bro. No,
because it's
just
so
a
easy
good
to do
idea.
with like
Why
3D
not
printing and magnets.
try it out yourself? I mean, yeah, it's not patented, I don't think.
Yeah,
and you're
so
not
you can
selling this, so
yeah, no.
you're just
So you can use 3D
making it.
printing or just
What is this
CNC.
thing? I don't even know what this
and
is.
all it does is just hold your bottles, so super strong, and it can withstand a lot of force on there.
So yeah, this is a strip. This is going to be a long strip.
Yeah, so we'll turn this into
It's
a
not-
strip and attach to the roof of your fridge, so you can just make
The
a lot of
inside
room.
roof of your fridge, yes.
Yeah. So nice little simple project for practical everyday uses around the house with 3D printing and
Space
magnets.
saving.
Yeah.
It's like an infomercial project. Pretty cool, huh?
So nice, super simple little
These
one
are
there.
magnets that we carry in the shop. We only carry one size, and this size is perfect for this project.
Yeah, so we usually
They're pretty
have
thick,
to
right?
hunt down different magnets over at K&J Magnets.
Yeah.
Went through, I think, like 3 different styles until I figured out that we had these really good ones in the shop
They're
already.
the ones to use.
Yeah. So these are a 1/2-inch diameter,
Mm-hmm.
3/4 thick, and kind of look at them there.
I don't
Nice,
know what
strong.
any of those 1/2-inch things mean. I'm metric, so I don't
So yeah,
know.
we'll release a project for this next week, actually.
Okay. Cool. All right. You want to do Lair Belair next?
Yeah.
All right. You
Let's
want to
do
tweet
that.
about it? I think I saw a question real quick, guys. Let me see if I can answer it real quick. Ping Pong is saying, can you briefly comment on the question? What was your question, Ping Pong? Here it is. Hey guys, off-topic question. Any suggestions on a very tiny motion sensor for tracking movement of swinging something?
So Tony D is actually working on this. He wants to make a doorbell using this exact same setup. And
Oh,
then
Yeah, but that's like software, right? Isn't it OpenCV?
Software, yeah.
With the Raspberry Pi camera?
Mhm.
That might be an option, but he's looking for a simple sensor. You might want to just try looking for projects on the Adafruit Learning System that just type in motion sensor, and I believe we have a couple things. I think there's like a Halloween candy dish that uses a simple proximity sensor. I believe there are lots of different little like robotic arms or robotic little cars that use proximity sensors that like would detect if there's a wall. So you might be able to leverage some of those projects or the code in those projects too. So give that a try. But I myself have not done any projects with motion sensing yet. Hope that helps. Okay. Cool. Elizabeth says there's lots of accelerometers in the shop. You might be able to use a tilt switch depending on your application. That is like the poor man's sensor. Yes, it's a good one. Okay. You looking at magnets, Pedro?
yeah,
What's
so we
going
put
on
in a link to the magnets on there and seeing if they carry them here too.
here? All right. Well,
Yeah, it's I can always get lost in K&J magnets. They have so many fancy ones
sure
there.
can. All right. Did you tweet the thing?
Yeah, start it.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to do Lair Belair now, guys. So earlier, was it last week? I think it was last week, wasn't it? Or was it this week?
Making twisty tops, yeah.
Yeah, don't show it yet. So got a couple comments, very constructive comments on things to look out for when you're using coils to make custom threads. Mostly about having it at the bottom of your cap so that it is so that it actually threads into the twisty top. So I figured out a cool way, a different way on using coils, but using 2 coils instead of using 1, and then subtracting away from your cap. So starting off with the same cylinder, this is like 50 millimeters in diameter. Start off with a cylinder, and here is the coil that I have set up, and it's just a 2 revolutions. It has the diameter of 54, and that's because my section size, right, the size of the coil is 4. So if you add that to your diameter, you actually get this really nice coil that wraps only on the surface of the outside of the cylinder that you're working with. The height is set to 12, and some other things I forgot. So if you make your second coil and you use the same settings, so 54 diameter, 2 revolutions, same height of 12, but in the profile or the section type, you make it an internal triangular, so that's going inwards, right? And the other one's going outwards. So you can see it's the exact same shape. And then if you just move it down, you can see how it can intertwine into itself. So it's like these 2 triangles that are pointing to each other, but they're intertwining with themselves. So this makes a really nice thread. So you can see at the bottom there how it intertwines with itself, because they're pretty much the same settings, just the different profile section, but the same diameter. Let's see, what do I do next? So then at this point you can create your second cylinder, which is supposed to be like the top that goes over the first cylinder. Your shell, when you create a shell, should be around the same diameter of the outer part of the coil, and then you can combine it so that you have your cap that has the external coil, and then the inner the inner cylinder that has the other coil. So when you do a section analysis to see through the thing, you can see how they kind of lock into each other. Now, what I found is you do want to have a tolerance there, distance between the two. So you actually want to have like a little bit bigger of a diameter in your coil and your cap. About half of a millimeter to a full millimeter. 0.2 is just not enough, I found, because I did print this out and tried it out. So let's take a look at that now. That's pretty much it for the CAD type of it. So the takeaway here is using 2 coils instead of subtracting from 1. So let's go to the overhead now. So here it is 3D printed, a little bit smaller. So this has a diameter of 20 millimeters, and the section size is not 4, it's actually 2 millimeters. So if you zoom into it, Pedro, like show it up a little bit closer. Maybe it'll focus, maybe not. Let me see if I can get that. You can see how the quality. Oh wow, that's great. You can see how the quality is a little bit muddy or something. You might want to print this out at 100 microns. This is 200, but you can see in the inside of the cap there is that coil. It's not a subtraction; it is an additive coil, and then it's in the middle of the cylinder. The position-wise, it's in the height, in the middle of the height of the cylinder. So I think this is a better way than I showed in the first tutorial, which was earlier this week. And then I just added a little sort of gear-looking shape to the bottom so you can have a better grip on it. This works out really well. The tolerances here was actually 0.5, or maybe it was a millimeter, which seems like a lot, but actually not. So there's like a little bit of leeway when you're. Can you feel the leeway? Yeah, when you put it in, like right there. Like, do you feel that? Mm-hmm. You guys probably hear that too. But when you tighten it up, that thing is like it's locked into place, man. That thing is locked, right? Like there's no leeway. So that works really well. So yeah, I think this will be really cool for project enclosures, or maybe you have like a big project, maybe you're making a cosplay staff or something, or a staff for cosplay, and you want to be able to break it down. This is a cool way to do that. Yeah.
Great.
You'll see this type of thread in all sorts of bottles. Your water bottle to your spray bottle to, I don't know, other things.
Good.
So it's cool.
Like it.
Coils. Use them. That's all I got.
Somebody is asking, do we have Fusion 360, a library of Adafruit parts?
Yeah, I wish. I I think there's a way to do that. I have to look into it more. I've had that question quite a bit. Now I really have to find out how to do it because I know.
I think we have to make a separate folder inside of all of our projects and just
save them out.
Have that
I'm gonna
entire
talk with,
folder.
I'm gonna
shareable.
ping Tyler Steen, who works at Autodesk, to see if there's a way to do it. There's got to be a way to do it because there's a McMaster library where it has all the screws and nuts and bolts. So I'm sure there's a way to do it. We just have to sit down and actually do it. So maybe I'll turn that into the project itself. Like, here's how to make your library. That's the only way I can have time to do stuff if I dedicate it to an actual project.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. Good question.
Someone's
It's not
asking,
here today, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah, someone's asking, can we get a watertight seal this way?
I have not tried any water.
Try to do that, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if it works. Fill some water up. Maybe a science experiment. Maybe it's watertight.
Someone else is asking, can they use the Noe IR camera?
Yes,
with the same
it is listed in the guide.
filters?
Yeah, it is listed in the guide as an option. There's also like a spy camera, which is like super small. Yeah, definitely capable. Okay. So that was L'Herbe. Not what you're prototyping, but this happens to be there, the little thing. I need to get rid of that.
Next
cool.
up is Shop Talk.
Yeah, real quick. Something. Wearable Pi. That's coupon code. 10% off. Good for anything in the shop, not just 3D printing, but anything other than software and gift certificates.
Yep, expires at 11:59 p.m. tonight, so definitely take advantage of that.
Yep, support the show, support the team and company. Toot toot.
All right, let's take a look at Shop Talk for this week.
I have the slide. Shop Talk. All right, jump into the Sigma.
Yeah, so we're still testing out the very cool independent extruder, dual extruder Sigma.
Quick, the video's rolling.
At BCN 3D Tech.
What are you doing here?
So we were having problems with retraction where the filament would get stuck between the heat break and the heat block, and they were suggesting adding some thermal paste. So we're just taking a look at how to do that in case anybody who already has one needs to do this. Yeah, okay. So it's pretty simple to disassemble the extruder on here. Just want to make sure that you take all of the filament out. So we just heated it to 180 and made sure that there wasn't any filament inside there, because when it cools down, it's definitely going to prevent you from taking the threads out. So you heat it up and then you lightly twist on the nozzle there so we can remove the fins from the heat break. And actually Kirby was commenting, why can't you just heat it up and take the nozzle out while it's still on there? Well, the way that these are mounted, it's kind of surrounded by the housing on that. So pretty simple to disassemble. It's just standard 2.5 mil threads on there. You just take off, or screws that you take out, and then you can see the way that it's just sandwiched in there. So sort of squeeze in. So you got to heat it up and then quickly take it out to remove the fins from the heat break.
Don't touch the heat break.
Which is actually what I do here.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't have a M5 bolt, you can use 1132 ratchet to remove that. And yeah, that was still hot. Definitely burnt my fingers there.
Oh man.
So yeah, this is the threads on the heat break is where you want to add the Arctic Silver number 5 in this case to transfer heat all the way up to there, because the fans do a really good job of cooling it down. And here I just demonstrate what's going on. It cools down right in that area.
Oh, it's so tight in there.
Preventing, it makes a little blob so it can no longer push through. So you want the heat transfer so that it can melt when it's in that area.
Okay. What is Arctic Silver?
So it's a thermal paste that has silver particles inside there. So it's able to transfer the heat all the way up.
It's not a glue, is it?
No, it's like a paste.
Okay. Cool.
So we just spread that. Yeah, so we're just spreading that onto the threads. And I've been in contact with BCN 3D, and
they're on the case?
Yeah, they're on the case. They're doing this to all of their nozzles. We just want to make sure that all of those are on there before we stock them in the store. And they are telling the customers if they can to go ahead and do this.
Yeah. If not, they'll replace it for you, hopefully.
Definitely get
shout
in
out
contact
to
with
them.
Yeah,
and maybe they'll hook you up. But we're not sure if it's like something that's covered with the. Is there a warranty with the machine?
They do have a warranty.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So there it is. Pedro just used a glove to spread it across those threads.
And we're just applying it back on there. So they do mention
That's
that you
cool.
want to put it on both, but I just didn't have an M5 bolt to unscrew from the other side. But this seemed to work in the meantime while they send over more nozzles.
Yeah.
So I think we have another
Yeah, I do right here. Boop.
clip there. So we just reassemble that back the way that it was.
All right. Look at that. This tells you how much time is remaining in the video. Isn't that cool?
Oh, cool. Yeah, you can go to the next clip.
All right, let's do it.
Basically just reassembling it.
Reassemble it, and here are the results. This is the MPR case that's still extruded with PLA that's conductive. It's from Protopasta, and just some white PLA that came with the BCN Sigma.
Yeah, so we still got to tweak some of the temperatures on there so we don't
Look at
have
the
so much
retraction.
oozing.
Oof.
Yeah,
So much ooze.
but it did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
You want to switch over to the overhead.
All right, let's do it.
And here we go. We have the conductive filament merged in with regular PLA, and these are just the buttons for the NPR radio.
Yeah, a lot cleaner than the Flash Forge Creator Pro. I may have not have. Yeah, I did show you guys. Yeah, I was using coffee PLA and conductive PLA on the Flash Forge when I first was doing the project. It wouldn't work too well.
Yeah.
Like there was way too much bleeding where I don't think the I should have ran a multimeter to it to actually test continuity, but I was just like, this thing looks ugly, so I just didn't do that. But this one's a lot cleaner. There's still a little bit of
A little bit of bleeding.
spill or
between
something.
here,
Yeah, bleeding.
See it there.
But
Overall,
I have
pretty
yet
good
to
job.
test it out again because it happened like yesterday. It finished.
Yeah.
So
And the standoffs are nice and strong, so I'm very
Yeah.
happy about that. There's no skipping on the walls, so
yeah,
nothing's
this
gonna
is
fall
a tough
apart.
print, man.
Yeah,
We've
I thought it'd
maybe
be
tried
easy.
50 plus times trying to print this thing,
Yeah,
and it wasn't settings; it was a hardware problem.
yeah.
Well,
So we'll continue testing this guy out, doing more dual prints, and
Yeah,
it's looking good so far.
that's right. I mean, this is ideally what we want to do: is to have some materials that really take advantage of the properties. In this case, it's conductive material, so conductive plastic makes great touch buttons, and that's what this is. If you guys are seeing this for the first time, this is a radio with touch buttons.
Yeah.
You just touch the button and it plays radio.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Moving on.
that was like 2 weeks ago project or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're still trying to get a good, because ultimately what we did, we just printed them separately and then you just like kind of press them into place.
Yeah, which is no fun if
Yeah.
you have
Yeah, if
dual
you're dual,
printer.
that's what you want to do. You want to fuse these different types of materials together.
Exactly.
So, pretty cool.
All right.
All right, that is the first part of Shop Talk. What else do we got? Want to do the CAD stuff? Did you guys hear that Eagle CADsoft was purchased by Autodesk? Pretty cool. Well, I mean, not a big surprise, but
Ever-growing portfolio of
yeah,
3D
we'll see
printing
what this
CAD
happens.
software. Yeah. Should be some
Phil
integration.
PT reached out to somebody there at Eagle CAD with some interview questions, so hopefully you will see an exclusive interview with the folks at Eagle CAD. What are their plans? We want to know. All right.
Pretty excited because hopefully they integrate this into Fusion and
Yeah, I would love to
circuits
see,
have some integration. with CAD.
Somebody in the chat a couple of weeks ago said, hey, he's working on a Python script to get Eagle CAD to Fusion. I'm interested in that as well. Okay, cool.
Cool. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's Q&A.
All right, and then community makes.
Yep.
All right, we're going to answer your questions here, folks. But first up, we have some queued up questions that we have in the previous week. It's this one, right? Yeah. There we go. First question is from Aiden Cowie. Hey, why did they on the registry your drone video that we did? Why did they start as soon as quadcopters became a thing? What about planes?
Yeah. So.
What about airplanes? What
Yeah,
about
this
us
all
guys?
started because everybody's, flying around emergencies when fires are happening and, flying around airports and pretty much just flying recklessly, having them fall out of the sky onto people. That's when...
Very small percent of people who get these drones
Yeah.
are doing them, not for malicious, but for just kind of egg-headed, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. There were even some people commenting on there like, oh, I fly without, being that jerk guy who's making it, all terrible for everybody else who's actually following directions. So don't be that guy.
Right. So that's
why all these laws are now in place.
That happens. Sebastian wants to know if he can flip the Pi and the Pi TFT at an 80 degrees in the Pi Girl case, so that you can have access to the headphone jack and the HDMI jack. Yeah, he said he made the adjustments in the Fusion 360 file, but he's curious what I think of the idea. I think, well, the thing is that the way that the Pi TFT is designed, the actual external header for the Raspberry Pi ribbon cable is actually positioned in a way where it can only go through a certain way. It can only go this way, right? Which is the way I have it there. I wanted it originally to be where I had access to all those ports, but the ribbon cable kind of is in the way. So,
I mean, you can tediously resolder at a different angle.
Create your own cable,
wires,
but then you have to they have to go through the edges, and that'll cover up your USB port, your Ethernet port. So you're kind of limited here. So
we're trying to make it as easy as possible.
Right. It'd be kind of difficult. So if you have the parts in front of you, you'll get what I'm saying. Where the ribbon cable is just, it only goes that one way. I can't flip it around or anything. So
next up.
Yeah, that's the deal. Okay, next one is from John Paul Hopman. It's a pilot registration, not a drone registration. It's a comment, actually, not a question.
Yeah, so this was specifically covering hobby flying. If you want to fly commercially, you do have to get a pilot and control certificate, which I am going to go for.
Oh.
So Brandy, my wife's granddad, is a pilot, and he's going to be teaching the certifications for those. So
he's going to teach you?
Yeah.
That's great.
We're going to go to class where he teaches
Ben's
that.
going to fly a drone.
We'll just be certified to fly commercially.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be the 107 section for that.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, hopefully that answers your comment. I don't know. Next comment is from T2H Instructionals. It looks like they're using a stepper motor for the skateboard. Oh, last week we talked about a skateboard, Pedro.
Oh yeah, it's actually how we shot this week's Pi video. So it's for us, it's basically like a nice
steady
slider,
cam.
Yeah,
steady cam. Sure. No, it's a fun ride, and it doubles as equipment for video,
for shooting,
for work.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
it's a giant motor that's just on the wheel.
Is it a stepper? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a giant motor. Maybe it is.
Check out Evolve if you're interested.
Yeah, evolveskateboards.com. Maybe there's a breaking down.
We're looking at getting the new one, but they're just completely sold out.
Yeah, new one just came out. Yep. All right, there you go. Next one's from Christopher. He has a suggestion. How about making a StarTrack, the next generation communicator, Bluetooth, that vibrates when you get a notification on your phone? He likes the one that we did for the original series, but he thinks this one would be a lot more practical.
Yep, so practical that's already in the list for when code is written up for that. So
cool.
We'll definitely take a look at that.
We'll get to it.
Once we can,
yeah. Maybe we'll make it smaller too.
Yeah, we'll get a giant list of projects we gotta get through.
Yes. All right. It's in the works. Keep calm and play FNAAF. Does this work with the solid doodler? He wants to know if bamboo wood filament will work with the 3D doodler.
You know what we have? It's not a 3D doodler. It's an air pen.
An air pen?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll work. We'll try it out. We'll share the results next week.
Yeah.
But we'll try it out, yeah.
Okay. We'll give it a try. I think it'll work. I mean, what could go wrong? There's no retraction here, right? It's just...
Yeah, I think the 3D doodler is 3mm. I don't know about the newer ones. It might be 175, but...
Maybe you folks know. Let them know.
Yeah.
Where do I find a PTFE 175 tube for the TAS 4?
So you just search PTFE 175 tube on Alibaba or AliExpress, and there should be a lot of links there for that.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have a link because there's a lot of suppliers.
Oh, actually, too, on their forums, on Lulzbot's forums, they link directly to where they buy them from.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's right on their forums, yeah.
They're such a great company. Okay. Hopefully that helps. What printer did you use in the 3D printed custom keycaps project, Pedro?
Yes. So this was the Autodesk Ember 3D printer.
Yeah.
Kind of pricey, but
It's kind of pricey.
we just saw some really cheap ones on last week's show. It was a kit, but it was only like
Yeah. Oh yeah, bring your
$500.
own projector.
Oh yeah,
It was like
yeah.
$300 resin printer. You bring your own projector. They're coming down in prices though. Pretty cool. Formlabs is doing it up too. I would have used Formlabs if we had one.
Yeah.
So there you go. Step Chai, what's up, buddy? He wants to know what happened to the blower fan that you used previously. So Pedro used the Type A machines to print the castle that was this week's Time Lapse Tuesday video. Are there any STL links for this one, Pedro?
Yeah, so the designer who actually modified this came up with a better design for the blower mount than the one that I had made.
Yeah.
He never released the STLs, but I did manage to grab them, so I'll just share the Fusion 360 files because I did have to make some modifications for it to fit on the Pro. And actually the other one as well, the non-Pro Type A machine. So we'll just send you a
2014 model.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll send that over to you in the comments.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's easier. Because then you can just download it in any file format that you want.
Yeah.
Step file.
Click on
Step
share
Chai.
file. Yeah.
That's it. That's all the questions. Let's go ahead and, guys, we'll answer your questions now. Pedro, you have a bigger screen. I can barely read the text up there.
Okay,
I have bad
Avery's
eyes.
Tech is asking, are we going to get the Printable Simple V2 shop? Well, yes, we just got an email today. Looks like it's going to be delayed just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I think the beginning fall.
Yeah, somewhere around the end of fall or beginning of fall is when we'll get them in. We might get them in a little bit sooner, but that's when they're projected to launch, I believe. So stay tuned. Yes, we are going to take a look at those. One of the best selling printers that we got in the shop. Yeah. So yes, we will take a look at V2.
Thanks for the comment.
Avery's Tech.
Schumann, thank you for the comment. What was the question, Peter?
Next one is going to be from Ping Pong Training Videos. When will you do a video using a camera with your Pi 3 screen video Octoprint?
I kind of did one a couple weeks ago. It might have gotten buried with the many videos that we make. But I basically show you how to set up a Raspberry camera for your Octoprint rig, like step-by-step how to install it using Jpeg streamer. So check that video out if you haven't seen it. Just search for Octoprint camera in our YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Is there any possible way to use a smartphone display unit only display for the Raspberry Pi?
I mean, if you could find a display driver that has HDMI or maybe that's talking through SPI, I think you could do it.
Somebody's asking us to do robotic arms for the drone. That would be cool. So I did notice that somebody did figure out how to use the auxiliary buttons on your controller for your Phantom 4. So that is definitely something we're going to look into.
But with flex sensors, yeah. I've seen somebody do that before. You had like gloves and then flex sensors.
Oh no, this is a separate question.
Oh.
They're asking for a Raspberry based robotic hand using flex sensors and a servo motor. That would be pretty cool.
Wow. Yes. We need to do more robotics. Okay, now we're switching over to the Twitch chat. We haven't forgot about you.
This guy needs advice
on the M3D?
On the M3D. What's your recommendation for a 3D print that works well with Octoprint? Oh, he needs to advance from his M3D.
Oh, okay.
Well, M3D works with Octoprint, but any other printer, just depends on what your budget is.
What you're looking to do. Yeah, there's so many bots out there. I recommended last night on the chat for Ask Engineer. Look at the buyer's guide from 3D Hubs. That'll probably narrow down your search because there's a lot of machines out there.
But personally, I really like the Ultimakers.
Yeah.
It's definitely just hit print, walk away.
Okay.
Forget you even started a print, walk back, and it's like almost done.
Yeah, works
it
really
just
well.
works. Yeah, and especially when like right now I'm printing pretty big parts, kind of mystery.
The
project.
Flash Forge Creative Pro is a great choice as well. They've really ramped down on price. Like it's like $8.99 on Amazon. It's kind of bad for us because we got it when it was the price was higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you want to do. Yeah.
I've heard good things
Sigma,
about the...
if you want to do dual printing, a bigger bed for dual printing,
Yep.
go with the Sigma. If you want to go, if you don't mind, if you don't need a big bed for dual printing, the Flash 4 does NinjaFlex, has a dual printing. The Ultimakers, a little bit more taller, bigger, more square space.
Printerbot, Simple Metal. Did you say that one?
Yeah, we're out of stock on those right now.
Well, I mean, you don't have to get it from us.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, there's a new one
another
coming
one.
out, so
Yeah. We're in a pickle here.
yeah.
Do we get new ones?
My recommendation, Ultimakers, you can use 3mm or 175. You can print the Cheetah Ninja Flex.
Yeah.
So there's
And
that.
all sorts of other materials.
The UX on it is excellent.
Great lighting.
Great lighting, it's basically all softbox
Yeah.
for your 3 time lapses.
Yep. Then there's some more low entry ones. I believe the Duplicator i3. There's so many reviews on that one. Take those and take a look. I haven't played with one, but there's like $500
For what now?
a Duplicator i3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 10 by 10.
It seems to be mixed reviews. You either get a good one or not. It seems to be it depends. Do you want to spend some time tweaking your printer, or do you just want to hit print and walk away?
Yeah, that's what. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, Persia
i3 looks awesome. That's right.
You get lots
of choices, man. It's hard for us to pick one. But
Apple Babies MC is saying that he tried the Snap Fit Pi Girl 2 case, worked great until the second time he closed it. It kind of broke the Snap Fit stuff off. It says, "Oh well, I just got to print a normal case, I guess."
Oh. Yeah. In YouTube chat, I see, where can I get a driver board for my smartphone display that can give HDMI in for my Raspberry Pi? I don't think we carry any. We may or we may not. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. I always check eBay and Amazon for a display driver.
More recommendations for the Duplicator i3. Actually, I think Chuck did some review of it and did some modifications that made it really good.
Which one?
Check that out. The Duplicator i3.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's lots of choices out there.
Yeah.
William Toll is saying that he just downloaded Fusion 360 and is going to try to learn it over the weekend.
Great, yeah. Awesome. There's a lot of tutorials out there. Check out their YouTube channel, which is just Autodesk Fusion 360, and I also have a playlist called Layer by Layer that shows you some of the UI stuff and some techniques. Can you make a Raspberry Pi mini handheld notebook with the Pi 3? I mean, we kind of did already. Use the Pi 2, but it has the same form factor.
Yeah.
It's somewhere over there.
We will revisit that. There's a lot of projects that we got to revisit.
Yeah, because of the new Pis.
Yeah. I don't know where I went.
Beginner's Tech saying that he can vouch for the Duplicator i3. It is a very good printer.
Awesome, yeah. Okay. Check it out. It has a pretty big printing space as well for the price. So yeah. Cool. Check that out.
All right, well, Pedro, we're running over an hour, and I haven't done community makes, so we're gonna have to do that next week, guys. A lot of great projects, but we're just out of time, man. Sorry.
All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in every Thursday. 3D Hangouts.
Yeah, don't forget, if you want to support the show and pick up some stuff to bring your projects to life, Wearable will get you 10% off. Wearable Pi, sorry.
Wearable Pi,
that's coupon code. Cool.
Give us a thumbs up if you like the videos.
Yep.
That's what keeps us going here.
That's right.
Give us a share and definitely comment if you have any more questions.
Yeah.
We will round those up and answer them next week.
That's right. Okay, cool. And don't forget the shows, all the shows on the Adafruit channel. There's a lot of them. We do a show and tell on Wednesdays. Ask Engineers, a full hour of Lamar and Phil. Raspberry Pi, Arduino, new products, and more.
Top secret stuff they're all working on.
Yeah.
Very cool. Check out
Colin Cunningham, Pseudorandom. He's been working on some new episodes.
Cool episode coming up for next week.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep. Magnets. That's cool.
Always check out
Tony D's killing it. He's coming out with so many streams. I think he does 3 now a week on Mondays and Fridays, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes random.
And Wednesdays now, I believe, as well. So definitely check out Tony D's desk.
Quick look at Raspberry Pi. Deep dives into code.
Software, yeah.
Awesome stuff. Python and more. And of course, Lady Ada's doing a new series.
Sort of behind the scenes of how they came up with Circuit Playground.
Yeah.
So and this partnered up with DigiKey.
DigiKey, yes.
Components, yeah. And a very cool interview you guys should check out.
Good stuff.
And very cool, yeah.
Okay.
All the shows and more throughout the week. I think we're coming out with like 20 videos a week here at Adafruit.
So it's easy for videos to get buried and whatnot. So,
so definitely just
sign up,
subscribe.
For notifications.
Yeah, check daily. There's always a video or two a day on there.
Right. Cool. Keep on printing. Good luck, everybody, with your maker endeavors. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya.